Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about high yield savings accounts. A high yield savings account is just what it sounds like. It's a savings account that earns a pretty high interest rate compared to regular savings accounts. For example, I bank with Chase and I have a checking account and I have two savings accounts with them. Each of the savings accounts that I have with Chase earn 0.01%. Yes, 0.01%. I think there must be some kind of minimum amount that they can give you in interest deposit every month, because no matter what I have in there, I always just get 1 penny. Not really going to get me to my financial independence number anytime soon. So I opened a high yield savings account so that I could keep my emergency fund money in there and allow it to earn a lot more interest than it would if it was just sitting in my regular bank savings account. If you want to have some type of comparison, just know that last month I received over $44 in interest payment through my high yield savings account, which sure as heck beats the 1 penny that I was getting before. A high yield savings account is important for the type of savings that you need to have readily available. So let's say you're saving for a trip or for a car or your emergency fund. All of those different things are going to be ideal to put into a high yield savings account. It allows you to have easy access to them, to that money, but at the same time, it's just far enough removed that you're not going to spend it as though it was in your checking account. Also, it's earning a higher interest for you while not being locked away in the stock market or in a Roth IRA, where you wouldn't have access to that until retirement. Typically, they are internet-only type of banks. You're not going to have physical locations or ATMs around the country. Additionally, a lot of them have very limited product offerings, and so they focus exclusively on high-yield savings accounts so that they can provide high interest rates. Lastly, these banks can offer higher rates because the accounts have limited features. Usually these types of accounts will only let you transfer money in and out from an external bank account that you have connected to this particular savings account. Well, money market is very similar to a high yield savings account. The primary difference between the two is that money markets allow you to write checks from the account. A high yield savings account functions solely as a savings account. You typically cannot spend anything out of there or write checks from there. And this is why it's great for emergency funds, because it really does keep those savings separate from the money that you use to spend for everyday things. And you really have to think about the money that you might want from that account before you spend it. Now, a CD locks your money away for a set period of time in exchange for a particular interest rate. You might have 6-month, 1-year, 2-year, 5-year CDs, and they all offer certain interest rates. But the point is, once you put your money in that CD, it's locked away for that set period of time. So CDs really aren't that great for the purposes of saving an emergency fund, because in the event of an emergency, you wouldn't have easy access to that money. Additionally, if you take a look at CD offerings right now, their interest rates are not beating high yield savings accounts. So there really isn't an advantage to going with CDs nowadays. When shopping around for a high yield savings account, there's a couple of features to look out for. Now, one, just because a bank is advertising a certain interest rate does not mean that that is the interest you're going to earn on all of your money. Sometimes they only offer that interest rate if your savings reaches a certain amount, and that amount could be as high as $10,000 or $25,000 before you reach the advertised interest rate. For other accounts, they might offer that interest rate for up to the first $2,500 of your savings, and then after that there's a tiered amount, and any money over $2,500 earns less and less and less. So first, find banks that offer the interest rate that they say they're going to offer for all of the money that is in your account. Second, you want to look for accounts that have no minimum requirement to get started and no minimum daily balance that you have to maintain. Some accounts might require $100 or even $5,000 for you to open up an account, but there are plenty out there that let you get started with as little as $0 or 1 penny. Look for those because it allows anybody to get started. Also, make sure that there's no requirement for a minimum balance. Because this is for your emergency savings, in the event that you have to deplete your savings, you don't want to then get hit with some type of fee from the bank because you had to take your own money out of the account. Third, and this one is really important, make sure there's no hidden fees. Some banks like to charge for any kind of reason, whether you're not maintaining a daily balance or because you withdraw too many times or whatever the case may be. Just make sure that there's no types of fees associated with this particular account. And lastly, this one is personally important to me. Try to find companies that are socially responsible. I know that it's really hard with big banks to find any of them that can be ethically responsible or in any way trustworthy, but there are some out there, and try to look to see what they stand for, what they represent, who they support, and make sure that your money is going into the right hands. Now, I'm all about action steps, so I wanted to put together a list of at least 5 high yield savings accounts that I felt good about putting my name behind to recommend to you. And I'm not gonna lie, I looked at over 50 different accounts that were out there, and between either not having a high enough interest rate, the fine print not providing the things that I wanted to provide, or the institution not having the right ethical practices, I couldn't find even 3 that I could put together. I do really like my personal high yield savings account company, and I will share that in a separate post, but I want to leave it out of this video because the purpose here is not to promote any one particular company, but I do like to personally share what's working for me in the hopes that it might help you as well. So I'll share that in a separate post. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, I'll see you next Monday. Bye.